a vast majority of women taking a master's degree, and then you go up to the next kind of academic level and PhD students, and it's still a majority of women. And then you go up a level to researchers, it's kind of half-half. And then you look at associate professors and professors, and it's an overwhelming majority of men in those positions. So I'm really wondering, where have all those women gone?
For me, being a woman in science, it didn't have so much meaning before. I needed to kind of think about it because I always just saw myself as a person in science. And I feel like for other people, it meant more for me to be a woman in science. For example, for my mum, it means a lot. It means pride because a scientific career wasn't really an option for her and for many generations of Irish women. And also that goes for today, for many women out there. Becoming a researcher or getting into science isn't really an option. So then on second thought, being a woman in science, it means privilege.
For me, it feels quite normal actually, and I think that's how it should be. But then I realized that's because, of course, there's been a really long fight before me so that it could be normal for me to have this career. So that's why I feel very grateful for that, and also feel like I have some sort of responsibility to continue this fight and make it possible for other women to find it normal to do science.
Learning to trust your own ability to do science, that what you do is good, and to kind of give yourself the space to speak up about what you do.
Not being taken as seriously as some of the older colleagues in the room, who usually happen to be mostly men. So I mean, there's some sort of interrelatedness between the gender and the age dynamics there.
The only kind of big challenge I had was in the field, like doing field work in the Swahili coast, where gender roles are a lot more strongly defined and performed. So I found it really hard to find my voice and to lead a field team which was primarily men.
Boys' clubs tend to form kind of organically, and I can just kind of say in a generic way, I've been at a workshop or a seminar, and then sort of afterwards the guys of the group will self-organize to go out to a pub or have a beer or something, which is fine. Then because they're work colleagues, sort of brainstorming and decision-making processes can happen in these casual form, and then the women aren't there to take part in those brainstorming and decision-making processes. With like the boys' club phenomenon, again, I don't think they're even aware that they're doing this, so I just invite myself. I kind of keep an eye out for if it's happening, and I'm like, oh yeah, can I come out for a beer with you guys too, or come out to the pub?
I overcame it with the help from one of my female colleagues who was in the field for a little bit with me. She kind of coached me and gave me strength to kind of tackle this situation and to kind of become a strong leader and find my voice and realize it's okay not always to be nice and agreeable and likable.
Having a supervisor who pushes me to really find what it is that I want to do and what it is that I think is relevant, instead of just doing what other people tell you to do or what other people say that is important.
Be vocal, make sure my voice gets heard, and ask bold questions that make my heart thump really hard when I have to do that in front of people.
It's important to have women in leadership positions because it's really hard to be something that you can't see. So we need women in leadership positions not just in science but across all industries and organizations and sectors, because it's important to be able to empower young women and show them there's a range of career opportunities out there.
It helps normalize this idea that science is open for everyone, and I think also it enriches science and and research in many ways, because you get more voices, you get more inputs, you get more points of view, so that only strengthens science. So, you know, it's only for the benefit of science. So, you know, why not is more or less the question. Why aren't there more women?
Women make up about half the world's population, and only 30% of researchers globally are women, right? We need to do a lot more if we want to close that gap and have a more balanced representation of gender and worldviews and perspectives in academia.
Respect others for what they've done and kind of acknowledge their work and their contributions to science. Even if it's just by kind of acknowledging a certain thing that somebody's done and mentioning their name.
Address the structural inequalities, address the inequalities in recruitment, in the promotion of women, in pay.
Senior academics or people in leadership roles, when they witness domineering or bullying or condescending behaviour towards female colleagues, they could call it out.
We need to actively create a culture of inclusion by thinking about changing structural processes. So for example, you could think about including gender criteria when you're deciding which research projects to fund, or by advocating mixed gender research teams, or also providing support for researchers with young families.
Practice being assertive, practice presenting your ideas, practice talking and debating in women-only spaces. Practice exercising this capacity to take the space, take the floor, and feel legitimate to talk in these spaces. That can be very empowering.
I would say find what it is that really drives you, then work really hard towards that goal, and don't let yourself be discouraged by anyone else.
For younger women about to embark on their scientific career, and for me, I think you don't need to apologize for yourself all the time. I feel like I do that way too often. It's okay not to be nice or likable all the time. Please don't compare yourself to other people and other scientists and researchers. And most importantly, build a really strong group of inspirational, supportive, non-judgmental women around you in your scientific career, and you'll be good.